Hi, guys. So, because this week we're going to be studying Shakespeare's language and trying to understand basically, what he was saying, I have created a vocabulary list for this week to identify some types of figurative language and rhetorical devices that Shakespeare would use in his plays. So, let's go ahead and get started on this list. All right, so this list again is for figurative language and rhetorical devices. Some of these words you have seen before, we've studied them before, or you've studied them in the past. Others are a little bit newer and might need a little bit more of an understanding. All right, first term is figurative language. Figurative language is imaginative language that is not meant to be interpreted literally. We all like to use the word literally, sometimes in the very wrong context. For example, I might say, "Oh my gosh, I literally died." But I didn't literally die because I'm still breathing and my heart's still beating. So I can't say literally. I can say I figuratively died, but it doesn't ever give really the emphasis of the word literally. So just watch how we use that because sometimes we use it all wrong. The next term for figurative language is a hyperbole. A hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration used for emphasis, and it's often used for comic effect. So that doesn't mean it's often used in in comics, like comic strips. It's used for a funny effect. It's used to be as a device to be funny. So a hyperbole that I love to use is, "Oh, my mom's going to kill me." She's not going to literally kill you. She might hurt you a little bit, but she's not going to kill you. But that means that you're in trouble, right? A simile is the next figurative language type. It's a comparison between two unlike things using the word like or as. We know what similes are. We've used them before. And we know that they're comparing two unlike things. For example, maybe they're comparing a simile, or they're comparing in their simile a smile and the sunshine. And I could say her smile is like the sunshine. Now, I do not mean that her smile is hot. I do not mean that literally hot. I do not mean that her smile is yellow, but I'm thinking that her smile is bright and beautiful, and the sun is also bright and beautiful. A metaphor is the next figurative language. It's a comparison between two unlike things in which one thing is said to be another. So the metaphors have a stronger comparison rather than just saying it's like something, it's saying that it is something. Maybe you have a computer upstairs and you're thinking that it's really old. You could say that the computer is an old dinosaur. Now, not literally that you have a T-Rex upstairs in your mom's office, wrecking havoc, but instead saying that it's a really old computer. It's really slow, maybe ancient almost, if you will. I know that now that I'm a little older, when I look back at the computers that I first used in third grade, I'm like, wow, that's an old computer. No comment on the age thing. Next type of figurative language is personification. Personification is a kind of metaphor that gives objects or abstract ideas human characteristics. So we look at personification and we're looking at the word person. That's again when we're giving something that is not human-like characteristics. An example of personification would be how the candle flame danced in the dark room. Candle flames aren't whipping and nay-naying. They're not, doing TikTok dances or whatever it is you kids do nowadays. But instead, it's flickering in the dark room. We know that candle flames flicker, right? Other types of personification is that the sunflowers nodded in the wind. Okay, they're not literally nodding their heads like how we nod and say, yes and no, but they're nodding their heads because of the wind. And so it's just, again, that kind of that metaphor that gives that human characteristic to these objects. Your next type of figurative language is a pun. Puns are the humorous use of a word or words to suggest another word with the same sound, but a different meaning. Puns are really punny. Ha ha ha. Oh, but that's kind of a simple idea of a pun. Sometimes people use puns like if they were, let's say you were cooking eggs, and you would say, these eggs are excellent today. Oh, well, if you didn't think that was funny, I did. So again, we're using that humorous use of words, and we're trying to make it sound like another, but it has a different meaning. All right. So rhetorical devices, and those were all just figurative language. So these are rhetorical devices. There's only three. But a rhetorical device is a use of language that is intended to have an effect on its audience. So the whole purpose of the rhetorical device is for your audience. It's having that effect on them. A rhetorical question is a question asked to emphasize a point or create an effect. No answer is expected. Oftentimes in comedies, people ask rhetorical questions, and to be funny, the other actor or actress that they're with will answer the question, and they'll say, "It was a rhetorical question," right? An example of a rhetorical question is, "Who cares?" Now, that question never ever really it never is warranted a response. You're saying, okay, who cares, because no one cares, or I don't care. Next is parallel structure. Parallel structure is using the same pattern of words, so words, phrases, or clauses, to show that two or more ideas have the same level of importance. So this one I'm trying to give you a little bit of an understanding. So it's not just listing the words. Like you would say, okay, I need to clean my room, sweep the floors, and then clean the bathrooms. That is just listing what you need to do. If you were to put it in a parallel structure, again, they all have the same level of importance. So you would change it and you would add some words to make it make sense as a parallel structure. So for the parallel structure, I would say, I need to clean my room, attend to the bathroom, and attend to the flooring in the house. So they all now have the same level of importance, and it's not just a list of things that you have to do. But we will go over parallel structure a little bit more with our lessons. And the last type of rhetorical device is repetition. Repetition are keywords or phrases that are repeated for emphasis or effect. So with repetition, we know that means repeating or to do again. And these phrases are repeated for emphasis, they're repeated for effect. Doesn't necessarily mean that they are repeated several times in a row. It could be that they're said throughout the entire dialogue. It just really depends. So it really could be any type of word, as long as you hear it being constantly repeated. An example of repetition is from the book Hatchet. Now, we know that books are created for an audience. They're created for a specific purpose or specific people who read those books. Hatchet, of course, we know is an amazing book by Gary Paulson. And the beginning of the story, I don't want to ruin it for those of you that have not read it, but Brian is in a helicopter a small plane, and he's on his way to see his father. And he keeps thinking about divorce, and he keeps saying divorce, which we know it basically has an effect of how he's feeling and what type of toll divorce is taking on him. Well, I do hope that this was informative. And even though some of these words we've already seen before, there are certainly some new ones that we could get familiar with. For your vocabulary challenge, I would like you to find examples of figurative language and rhetorical devices in movies. In movies. So you can find it on YouTube if you so happen to find the clip on YouTube. You can, if you have the movie on maybe Prime Video or Netflix, whatever the case may be, You are going to take a recording of it, and then you are going to put it in a quick presentation, nothing super fancy. And I would like you to tell me what figurative language is being represented. So again, for your vocabulary challenge, you are going to take some figurative language. Let's say for figurative language, I would like you to choose 3 of these. So either a hyperbole, simile, metaphor, personification, or pun. 3 types of figurative language. And then for rhetorical devices, I would like you to use 2 rhetorical devices. So that's 5 words total. Put it in a presentation, a slides presentation. Take a video of your movie that you found, whatever the actor or actress is, or whoever the case may be, however they're using these types of figurative language, and tell me what type of figurative language is being represented in that clip. All right. I hope that this was informative. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, and good luck on your vocabulary challenge.